I wonder how many young people are really aware of the hopelessness of trying to feed the globe's population without vast quantities of affordable fossil fuel energy at this point in time. I'm a farmer, and I'm very, very interested, as you know, Chris, in the business of feeding people in less fortunate parts of the world. We've made terrific progress, much better progress than we ever give ourselves credit for. Lifespans in much of the third world have doubled in the last 50 years. The, stunted children numbers and so forth, it's still too high, but it's way down on what it was. You mentioned it. 50% of the world's grain production is dependent at this stage on artificial fertilizers. Agriculture is around 14% of emissions. Transport, another 14, 15%. You won't get anything on your dinner plate, and you won't get your toilet paper either, for that matter, at the supermarket, without diesel, without fossil fuels at the moment. There's that aspect of it. There's another that's being missed. Our young people who have a moral conscience need to stop and consider, those economic and humanitarian realities. But there's another one. We're going to need vastly more power, not less, in the future because of data centers and AI and those things that will be critical to our children having job opportunities and restoring themselves to a reasonable standard of living vis-a-vis what their parents had.
Yes, John, and it goes again to the people not actually having any understanding about where their lifestyle comes from. When you come to artificial intelligence centres, I was in the United States last year, spoke to the guy that runs reliability for the US grids, because there are several of them, and he said they're now getting demands for 1 gigawatts worth of load. Now, that's a meaningless figure, except that that's how much energy you'd need to run the city of San Francisco for one data center. Now, we're going to see those things springing up all over the world as the demand for the benefits that we can get from artificial intelligence come. But when it comes to food, you're dead right. Again, people don't understand that in order to get the fertilizer that we need to feed half the world's population, it comes from a process that was invented, in fact, during the First World War, the Haber-Bosch process, where we essentially harvest the nitrogen from the atmosphere. There's plenty of it there, but plants can't eat it, turn it into ammonia and turn it into plant food. That's where most of your food comes from. So you have to have fossil fuel embedded in that industrial process. And at the moment, we haven't invented the process that could take its place. It's the same when we talk about all of these other things like making plastic and making medicines. People don't understand that most of their medicines are petrochemicals. It's a derivative of the oil industry. And what we've seen through the course of through the 20th century and up until now is that demand for all these things hasn't dropped. People haven't changed their lifestyles. We've changed the place where the energy is being burned, mainly from places like Australia and Europe, into China. But China's now burning 58% of the world's coal. Last year, the world burned more coal, oil and gas than it ever has in a single year in human history, and carbon emissions continue to rise. One of the reasons that I get agitated about this, John, is that if the world was serious about cutting carbon emissions, then I think Australia should be serious about it. But the world clearly is not serious about it, and economies which now make up 60% of the world's carbon emissions, the United States, China, India and Russia, have no intention of hitting net zero. So what's Australia doing on its 1%? If a ton of coal burned anywhere is a problem everywhere, then your problem is really in China and not in Australia.